She didn't show up to the wedding. No call. No message. Just an empty aisle and 80 people pretending not to stare. 16 minutes I stood there, under the arch, waiting. Then someone slipped me a note and walked away. No signature. One sentence. Don't be the last to know. That's when I stopped wondering what went wrong, and started figuring out who made sure it did. I stood under the arch for 16 minutes. No music. No signal. No explanation. Just silence, sunlight, and the sound of someone's kid kicking gravel under a folding chair. The chairs were set in neat rows, all facing me. 80 guests. Maybe more. Everyone dressed like they tried. Suits a little too tight. Dresses a little wrinkled. Someone's aunt had brought a paper fan. A groomsman kept checking his watch every 30 seconds. No one said it out loud, but they all felt it. Something was wrong. She was late. Not a few minutes. Fashionably dramatic, late. This was the kind of late that makes people start whispering, then stop the second you look up. I kept my hands in front of me. Didn't pace. Didn't sit. Just waited. I could see her sister in the back, staring at her phone, not texting, just staring. The officiant looked at me with that sympathetic, tight-lipped expression people use when they're hoping you say something first. I didn't, because I wasn't sure what to say. And then, at minute 16, someone slipped a small envelope into my hand. No words. Just passed it to me as they walked by toward the parking lot. I turned to look, but whoever it was already gone. Inside the envelope, one line, handwritten. Don't be the last to know. That was when the heat finally hit me. And for the first time since I got up that morning, I didn't feel like a groom. I felt like a setup. I stayed under the arch for another minute after reading the note. Not because I didn't believe it, but because I didn't know what to do next. There's a kind of stillness that hits when a room full of people is waiting for one person. It doesn't matter how many flowers are hung or how perfect the chairs are lined up. If the bride doesn't walk in, nothing moves. The officiant leaned toward me. Whispered, "Do you want to pause for a moment?" I didn't answer. Her sister walked up the aisle slowly. No bouquet. No smile. Just a phone in one hand and a tight expression. "She just needs a little more time," she said. But it wasn't convincing. Not even close. "She's here." A pause. She was. Then she turned and walked off without another word. Somewhere behind me, someone let out a sigh that sounded more like relief than confusion. That's what caught me off guard. Nobody looked shocked. Nobody was frantically calling her. No bridesmaid was rushing down a hallway, heels clicking, yelling about fixing her hair or a last-minute zipper. People sat still, like they'd been told something I hadn't. At minute 21, the DJ started slowly turning down the background music that had been looping for over half an hour. I heard someone behind me say quietly, "Guess it finally caught up with him." Another voice, "I told you she'd pull something." I turned around. Couldn't see who said it. I stepped off the platform and walked toward the building. Someone tried to hand me a water bottle. I waved it off. Inside the venue, the manager approached. Polite, apologetic. "We can hold the reception slot if you want to delay the ceremony. Shift the order of events." Shift the order. Like nothing just happened. "I'm not touching anything," I said. "Nobody moves until I speak to her." He nodded like he understood, but his eyes said he'd heard that before. I went looking. Checked the bridal suite. Empty. Flowers still in the sink. Her phone charger still plugged in. No phone. Her shoes were there, the flats she said she'd wear for comfort, after the ceremony. The heels were gone. On the mirror was a note. One she must have written for herself. Not for anyone else. Just a reminder, in blue pen. Don't talk your way into staying just because you're scared of the fallout. It wasn't signed. But it didn't need to be. The reception hall was too quiet. Half the tables were already filled. People weren't drinking yet, they were waiting, watching each other. Whispering. Some avoided my eyes when I walked in. I went looking for the photographer. He was by the far window, adjusting his lens like this was just another job. Calm. Too calm. He hadn't even asked where the bride was. Hadn't approached me once. I walked up to him. "You seen her?" He didn't look at me. Just clicked something on his camera. "She was here early. Got dressed. Took a few shots near the trees. That's it." He finally looked up. Shrugged. "She said to focus on atmosphere. Not faces." "Atmosphere?" He gave me a look. Not rude. Just, detached. Some weddings aren't about the couple. They're about the moment. I stared at him for a second. "Who hired you?" Her, he said. Direct booking. She gave me a schedule, shot list, deposit. Did she give you that note? He blinked. What note? I didn't push. He wasn't the type to flinch. Just kept fiddling with the exposure like nothing had changed. Then I saw his phone, face down on the table behind him. It lit up. A name popped on the screen for just a second before dimming. K, don't pick up. I picked it up before he could stop me. Hey, I said into the phone. A pause. Then a man's voice, surprised, you're not him. I didn't answer. The call ended. When I looked up, the photographer was already halfway across the room, camera in hand, heading for the exit. I didn't follow him. Because suddenly, I didn't need to. He wasn't the center of anything. He was just another piece. A hired hand in a script that had been written before I even got the tux fitted. And now, for the first time, I started thinking maybe this wasn't about a runaway bride. Maybe it was about making sure I stood there long enough for something else to happen. Something I hadn't seen yet. But someone had planned. I walked back outside. The chairs were mostly empty now. Some guests had started leaving without saying a word. A few lingered in small groups, talking low. Nobody met my eyes. Except for one woman, middle-aged, floral dress, one of hers. She gave me this tight, almost sympathetic look like she knew something I didn't, but wasn't going to be the one to say it. I passed her. She didn't stop me. Near the parking lot, one of the catering staff leaned against the van smoking. He looked nervous. Not the kind of nervous you get working a wedding, the kind where someone knows something went wrong and isn't sure who to tell. You all right? I asked. He hesitated. Then said, she gave us instructions. When? Yesterday. She said if the ceremony stalled for more than 20 minutes, start packing up the food, but don't leave the building. She said she'd let us know when it was okay to cancel. Did she tell anyone else? He looked away. She gave someone a package to drop in the gift pile. Said it was a just in case. Didn't say for who. I turned back toward the building. Went inside. Walked straight to the gift table. Cards, boxes, tissue paper, gift bags with bows. But near the back, a small, plain black box. No name. No ribbon. Just sitting there like it didn't belong. I opened it. Inside, a flash drive. No note. No label. Just that. I didn't say anything. Just turned and walked toward the manager's office, asked if I could use their computer for something urgent. She hesitated, but the look on my face must have said enough. I plugged in the drive. One folder. One video. I clicked play. The footage was low-res, filmed on a phone. Looked like a hotel room, maybe 2 nights ago. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, laughing. A man behind the camera, out of frame. She said, you think he'll even notice? The man laughed. She smiled, not cruelly, just tired. He wants it so badly to work, he'll stand there all day if no one tells him to stop. He said something I couldn't hear. She looked at the camera. I'm not disappearing. I'm just done pretending. Then she leaned forward, kissed the lens, and the video ended. I sat there for a long time. Didn't say anything. Didn't move. The manager knocked once. Everything okay? I said, yeah. But I was lying. Because that video wasn't just proof. It was the first honest moment I'd seen from her all year. I left the office and walked back through the hall like I was still part of the day. Nobody stopped me. Most of the guests were gone now. A few still lingered, making awkward conversation over untouched dessert trays. One of my cousins gave me a look like he wanted to say something, but didn't. I passed by the cake. Still uncut. Still whole. And for the first time since I woke up that morning, I laughed, just once, short, under my breath. That cake cost more than our couch. She picked it. She ordered it. She insisted on the design, the frosting, the exact shade of ivory. And she left it. Like everything else. I walked out the side door and called Evan, my oldest friend, the only one I trusted to say this out loud to. She's gone, I said. He was quiet. Then, how bad? Bad enough that it wasn't a cold feet thing. He asked if I wanted him to come by. I said no. Then I told him about the video. And he said something I hadn't thought about until then. If she gave someone that to drop in the gift pile, she wanted you to see it. That stopped me. He was right. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't something she lost track of. It was planted. Timed. Intentional. And the message wasn't just, I'm gone. It was, I chose to go. And you needed to know why. She didn't run away scared. She walked away planned. and left me a narrative to finish on my own. I hung up, sat on the curb by the dumpster behind the venue, watched a server carry out a tray of untouched food and dump it into a black bin. This was supposed to be the best day of my life. Instead, it was just the cleanest ending she could write without a conversation. But what she didn't know, or maybe didn't care, was that I still had one line left to write. And I wasn't going to send it with a flash drive. I was going to hand it to her myself. Just not with flowers. Not with forgiveness. But with silence loud enough to follow her wherever she went. I didn't text her. Didn't call. Didn't leave a voicemail. She made it clear I wasn't part of the conversation anymore. She had handed me a recording instead of a reason. And that told me all I needed to know. But I still had the license. The marriage form we were supposed to sign after the ceremony, never filed, never stamped. I took it home in a folder with the seating chart and leftover place cards. Useless now. But still symbolic. Like a contract left unsigned on purpose. Sunday morning, I got a message from her sister. Just 4 words, she's gone. Don't chase. I didn't respond. At noon, the photographer posted a single photo on his professional page. Just one. Her, standing alone, back turned, veil half off, wind catching her dress. No caption. No context. Just her. She must have approved it. He wouldn't have posted without permission. By 2 p.m., the post had over 100 likes. I sent him a message. Take it down. Or the full video goes to everyone tagged in your last 5 weddings. He read it. Deleted the photo within the hour. No reply. I didn't need one. The next day, I sent a small envelope to the hotel where she'd stayed the night before the wedding. No return address. No threats. Just a flash drive, same one she gave me, with 1 extra file added. An audio message. Me, saying 1 sentence. I watched the whole thing. That was your ending. Here's mine. She never replied. But the file was downloaded within 3 hours. After that, I packed a bag and drove 6 hours south. No plan. No job lined up. Just enough cash to get somewhere quiet. I left my keys on the counter, told the landlord I wouldn't be renewing, and blocked her number. She might have expected anger. She might have expected begging. Instead, I gave her exactly what she didn't prepare for. No noise. No closure. No audience. Just the absence of me. A clean cut. And silence with weight. 2 weeks later, I got a letter. No return address, but the handwriting was hers. I didn't open it right away. I left it on the counter, next to an empty coffee mug and a burned-out candle I never replaced. I stared at it for a while, wondering what version of her would be inside. The one from our first date. The one who left a flash drive. Or someone new entirely. Eventually, I opened it. Just a single sheet of paper. I'm not going to defend what I did. I just want you to know it wasn't about hurting you. I needed to feel like I had a choice. And walking away was the only one that felt honest. No apology. No explanation. I folded it back up. That was when I realized something that had been sitting under everything else. She never actually saw me as part of this. Not really. The venue, the dress, the guest list, the photos, none of it had anything to do with us. It was hers. Start to finish. A story she needed to tell herself, using me as a placeholder. The photographer, the fake toast, the video, she controlled the ending because she never intended to stay for the middle. And I think maybe that's the worst part of it all. Not the lie. Not the disappearance. But how carefully she made it look like something real, just long enough to get people clapping. So that when she vanished, I'd still be standing there, trying to explain something she'd already walked away from. That night, I sent one final message. Not to her. To the catering company. I asked if she ever paid the deposit, or if it had come out of my account after all. They wrote back. Payment was declined day of. Never resolved. Of course. I Venmo'd the difference. Told them to forget the rest. And then I wrote a short email to the photographer. Just one line. I'm not posting the video. But I still have it. No response. Didn't need one. Let them wonder. Let them all sit with it. Because they thought they were making something beautiful out of a disappearing act. But I was the one who stayed. Long enough to see what it really was. I never heard from her again. Not directly, anyway. But a month after the letter, I got an alert. Someone tried to open a joint credit line using both our names. Same bank we talked about once, sitting on the floor of our old apartment, eating takeout and pretending like we had a future. Only this time, I hadn't applied. I flagged it immediately, filed a fraud report, attached the flash drive footage. And a note. Attempted misuse of identity post-wedding day abandonment. Video evidence attached. No legal marriage filed. Contact me for sworn statement if needed. I never got a call back, but 2 days later, the application was officially closed. Flagged. Frozen. Then the account that had tried to open it was locked under review. That was enough. I didn't want to ruin her. I didn't want to go on some crusade. But I wasn't going to let her walk through someone else's life next, wearing my last name like a free pass. I didn't disappear. I made sure she did. I moved again. Small town, nowhere flashy. Got a job that paid less but gave me more space to breathe. Stopped telling people what happened. Let it shrink into something small, not erased, but shelved. Occasionally, someone from back home texts me. Hey, man, what really happened that day? I always send the same thing. A photo. Of the chair under the arch. Still decorated. Still empty. Because she made the first move. But I wrote the last line. And no matter where she goes next, she'll always know. Someone saw everything. And walked away with the pen.